Alright, here we are in KERRY 2.0, and she's going through her first car wash on our way back from our first trip. 72 miles on the odometer now, and we had half a mile before, so 72.5 on, or 72.5 since we bought it, 72 on that motor. We're doing pretty good. As you can see, I need to clean the inside of this glass, but this should help a lot here. Had one issue this morning. Remember the bad coolant cap? Well, the bad coolant cap, should you be quiet? That bad coolant cap let out probably a gallon of antifreeze, and actually I was getting air passing the temp gauge or the coolant sensor, and it would go like this: ding, back, ding, back, ding, back. And remember that gallon of water I had? I poured a gallon of water in it this morning after I swapped the coolant caps, and we've been good to go. But I'm gonna pick up some coolant and some refrigerant here, see if we can get some AC and just top off the cooling system. Otherwise, the van drives freaking phenomenal. Radio's a little staticky. I think these speakers are a little blown, but it works. Otherwise, we're doing pretty good. Well, charged up the air conditioning, and it does work. We'll see if it holds the charge. I didn't see any obvious leaks or hear anything, but it seemed to blow cold. Not the coldest, but definitely cold. I think that condenser might just be a hair clogged or something. I'd like to see the high pressure side, but it kind of just seemed like it kicked the pressure up and down. It was not as stable as I want it to be, but it worked, and it blew cold. Otherwise, the cigarette lighter didn't work. I found that out this morning, and then the horns never worked. Fuse number 3 was a blown 20 amp fuse, so I bet you we throw that guy in here quick. Up here, see if I can see where I'm at here. Yeah, we're up here under the dash. Fuse number 3, I bet you that horn works now. I forgot this button is broke. Yeah, we'll have to, I have another steering wheel, I think. And look what works here. So that was all that was, and I think this also controlled the radio amp. I don't know if that makes it. Oh, the radio sounds so much better now, too. Apparently that controlled some sort of amp for the radio, too. Alright, I'm going to shut this off in a second, but I was about to take this van to work again for day number 2. I'm looking up here, and I'm smelling some gas. Look at that spray. Look at that. Where's that coming from? The line right next to the fuel filter, that rubber line. That's why you replace those. Oh, shoot. It's spraying all over the exhaust. Alright. Off. And I thought it sounded funny. It wasn't like it had to reprime the fuel system while it was getting ready to start. Okay. Well, we ain't taking that. I thought I could start to smell fuel. Yeah, alright, well, we'll have to put some new rubber lines in. I've got a new filter in there, so I guess we'll put the new filter on. Should have done that before. That's what I get for skimping out. Dang it. Man, looks good. I'm sure they used high pressure hose, right? All over the exhaust. Yep. Seems good. Well, that's what I get for being lazy and not doing that like I was planning on doing originally. As you can see, I had a filter. It was in the vehicle, and well, this one made it to the very end. Yeah, this hose split. I don't know if this is fuel injection. It doesn't feel like, it feels soft. I don't think that's fuel injection hose. So I think it's old and not fuel injection rated hose, and it just did what that does and splits and leaks. Not to mention they use the regular worm clamps, which you're not supposed to do on injection lines, but whatever, we've corrected it and we've done it properly. I will show you how to do it properly. Right there, we've got our new filter in place with new lines with fuel injection clamps. The lines are not kinked, although they could be maybe like 1/8 of an inch shorter, but I kind of just, it's fine, it's fine. Looks good, not kinked. That should not leak. Let's find out. Also, make sure your eye wash station's handy when you get gas in your eyes. Don't ask me how I know. Got a prime? Okay. Primed. take a quick walk back over here and see if I plugged up the cooling system for the exhaust good enough. Looks dry to me. I would say that's a win and a good maintenance job done. That if we did earlier, wouldn't have happened, but you know, whatever. Also, she's officially KERRY 2.0 now. Look at that bad unit right there. How many people can I piss off with that sticker? That's a new old stock, same sticker that was on KERRY, the 91 Caravan. Well, it's all pressure washed. The wind picked up a lot and it just went to hell. Back when that van was being driven in 2003, 2004. That's the era. I don't mean anything by the sticker. It just kind of matches the era of the vehicle. And obviously that's how KERRY 1.0 got her name, so that is how KERRY 2.0 will display it. Stay mad. I don't care. Welcome back, everybody. I think this is going to be a new episode. So, I haven't done any recording on old KERRY 2.0 in, I don't know, a month or two? Since we got it all back together and running, obviously. Finally. But I've been driving it a little bit. We haven't put, what do we got? 713 miles I've got on this now, which means that KERRY 1.0's engine should have crossed 83,000 miles. And it's been running pretty good, actually. I've had no real issues with it, aside from the fact I hooked the EGR up backwards and I had a check engine light. I think it should be fine now. I haven't driven it. I just switched it back the other day, actually. I finally started looking at it. I'm like, this check engine light ain't going away. So, yeah, I had the EGR stuff backwards on the little solenoid. So that'll do that. Anyway, today we had some parts come in. So we've got 2 rear shocks here. And I've got 2 new old stock closeout KYB XLG absorbers. I've got 2 new boots. And then in the box in the back here, if I unlock the van, actually I think it is unlocked here. I've got 2 KYB strut caps. So we're going to build ourselves, yep. And wait, I've got 2 shocks back. One of these sets of shocks is for Blondie the 2000. I got to look and figure out which is for that. Because I've also got to do the front and rear shocks on Blondie the 2000 Chrysler Grand Voyager as well, which is, you can just see her bumper sticking out right there. Yeah, I got to kind of speed run 2 sets of suspension, full suspension redo on both of them. We're starting with this one. Hopefully we get this done in time. I should be able to drive it to work tomorrow, because this, let me tell you, this van needs shocks bad. Not as bad as, well, actually, what I mean to say, this one needs it a lot more than Blondie the 2000 does. This thing, it floats. It's a unique driving experience, to say the least. Anyway, I didn't want to / did not have the funds to do a full set of struts that were pre-done, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to reuse the springs, and we're going to build ourselves a set the old budget way. So hopefully those springs are good. They'll definitely, they're fine. They'll be fine for what we're doing. And then the rear shocks we got to swap out. And then I keep forgetting, I got to look while we have all this apart. I got to look really good at the brakes again and remember what I need. I know the fronts are working good right now. I know we had to free up one of the hoses. And I'm pretty sure the rears need wheel adjusters and maybe wheel cylinders. But we'll look. And that'll probably be part of this episode too, getting the brakes all sorted out. Because I think my plan for this van is, as much as I want to keep every van I own, trust me, we got lucky. Mr. Barry gets to live on because I don't own it anymore. Thanks, Dad. That van's been running good too, by the way. I think he's almost to 202 or something like that. Yeah. He doesn't keep it as clean as I do. Look at the dust. 202,769. So he's been putting miles on. He's been using it, hauling stuff around once in a while. Like those shelves right there. I think he hauled those home with it the other day. More shelving for storage and parts because I'm a hoarder. Anyway, my plan with the van, I think I got to let it go. But I think before I try to deal with the old sell it on Marketplace, if any of you guys are interested, send me an email. It's not going to be expensive. I don't know. I'll start at $2,000. If I can get $2,000 for this, I think I'm looking pretty good. But if you guys really, really want it, send me an email with the price. You know, I'd be reasonable, I guess, right? I'd like it to go to a good home, somebody who wants to take care of it and not just use it and beat it up like because it's an old beater. You know what I mean? I hate to do that. I've definitely sold some of my vehicles to people who did that, but you know, what am I going to do? At least I kept it on the road or put it back. It's not that I keep them on the road. I put them back on the road. Everything I buy was parked for a reason, and it was off the road for so and so many years. I think the last time I bought a running, driving car, like from the go, was already tagged, ready to go, didn't need to fix anything, was my 2016 Dart. And I bought, that was a long time. I was in like 2020, I think. I bought that. But otherwise, pretty well every other car I've owned, I buy because it's neglected, it needs work. I don't know if I'm crazy, y'all. So anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, now that we've got this van saved from the scrapyard, it was so close that the catalytic converter had already been cut off, and it was being sold for parts. Now that this van is back on the road, is a reliable runner driver, the engine's good, the transmission's good, we're getting the suspension fixed, we're going to finish up the brakes. I think, you know, one of you guys wants it, you know, shoot me an email, mnmoparminivan@gmail.com. I am definitely open to selling it to one of y'all who will hopefully keep her on the road a lot longer than the general public. If not, whatever, it'll get sold on Marketplace probably. Because I got to make room for other vehicles that I must drag home. So, please buy it, please. It's really cool. It's a really cool van. I mean, you guys, you've got the video on it. You know exactly what's up with the van. It's a little rusty, but like it's pretty clean for what it is. I might fully undercoat it yet still. I'm thinking about it. Depends how long I'm going to keep driving it here. But undercoated, it should last forever pretty well. So, needs paint on the hood. Needs paint on the roof. Other than that, it's pretty good. Oliver, you need to shut up. So Oliver, you can hear him screaming. He wants out, and as soon as I open the door, he sees the dog, and then he turns the hell around, and he runs back inside, and then he does the same thing 10 minutes later. So I will attempt to let him out again, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get to work. Enough of this. And I'm going to throw you up on the tripod. I think this is going to be a quick time lapse. I'm just going to kind of hammer away at it. I'm going to try to get away without having to align it because we're not doing tie rods or anything, so we're not going to have a toe in, toe out misalignment issue. It's already good to go in that respect. What I'll probably do is I'll try mark the spindle where the strut was sitting. We'll start with that, and otherwise I'll come in and I'll get a level on here, and we'll try kind of just eyeball level align it. We'll see what that gets us. If it drives funny, I'll take it in to get it aligned, but if I can get away without doing that, I'd like to. Okay, so brakes on the front look good. I'd say the rotor's been either turned or it was pad slapped at one point. Because, I mean, it's got meaty pads, but that rotor's a little thin. But I don't have any braking issues, so I'm going to leave well enough alone. Definitely probably should clean up this surface here where the wheel mates to it, though. If I can get in here with a drill. Otherwise, the tie rod boot is ripped, but it's got grease in it. So if a guy keeps greasing that, that should be okay for now. You could always put a new boot on it if you want. But the inner tie rod, I remember this now. The boot is chewed, but it looks okay on the inside, and there's no play in it. So, I mean, you could let both of those ride until they need to be done, and then you do it. I don't think I'm going to do them. I'm gonna leave them alone. But just, you know, that probably needs addressed in the future. But that'd be easy. So you just do that, get it aligned, done. No big deal. Okay, fine. I'm not that much of a hack. It needs front brakes. While there's some material there, the material is degraded. I tried smacking on this rotor. This rotor is severely rusted, and it's stuck on there, so we're going to leave it for now. Caliper, slide pins are free. The caliper moves backwards okay. The piston, it's definitely had a brake job or two. The piston's kind of banged up a little bit from the last guy prying it off without pushing the piston back in. And it catches on these tabs, but it's not going to hurt anything. That's kind of mostly cosmetic, unless the piston cracks in half, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, I suppose I'll order pads and rotors. But that'll be, yeah. Okay, so it needs pads, rotors on the front. Dang it. There, one sketchy shock rebuilt. I didn't order any of the rubbers for the bottoms. I probably should have, but these ones seem like they survived, so they'll do. New boots in there, seems to be holding nice and pretty. This shock, very obviously bad. It's leaked all of its juices out, and it's really easy to do this. Yeah, no effort, and then I can hear it oozing out when I do that. So, safe to say, she's done. That should do a lot better. They're not that bad to do. It's just, make sure you trust these. If you don't trust those, or you don't buy cheap ones of these, yeah, those break, you're in trouble. So, you know, take that as you will. Now, we just put that back in. I've got an idea of where it needs to be aligned. What I did here, if I can find the strut, like, adjustment bolt, you want to call it like a camber bolt. I don't know where he went. Editor me. Cut out me digging for this stupid bolt. It gone. Oh, found it. Anyway, what I did, see that mark I put in that? So that mark is dead center right there. So, in theory, it was aligned when it had a good strut in it. So, in theory, it should be just fine putting it right back there. In theory. And bam, that side is all back together. And if we pop on over to here, take a look at this side. As you can see, I've got it apart. Let's just see how bad this strut is. It looks dry, right? So it can't be that bad because it's not leaking oil. No, it's been bad so long that the oil dried up. That thing is, look at that. It's so bad it won't even hold itself. At least the other one did that. So somehow that was the worst side. We'll get that bad boy back together. As you can see, it's in pieces. And boom, I didn't even bother taking the brakes apart because we're already ordering new brakes. So we'll deal with that next week probably. For you guys, it'll be this episode in probably a couple minutes. But that side's all done. Looks like the alignment's pretty good. Yeah, I think we did all right. Can I get a wheel cylinder and self-adjuster cable, please? Add wheel bearings to the list. I don't remember hearing this, but it's coming apart. Look at the metal. It's all a bunch of metal flakes. I can tell that it's loose and it's out of grease, but I see metal flakes. Yeah, we're gonna go with need wheel bearing. I don't remember if that was bad before or not. Somebody, editing, take a look at the old footage and play that back now. Alright, just starting to rain now. I got the tire off. Figured I'd smack that drum off quick. drum's pretty rusty. Maybe a little thin, I don't know. It's pretty crusty. But came off easy enough. Looks like it's got new pads on the rear. Some new hardware at some point, but the new adjuster, the wheel cylinder is leaking for sure. If you look right there, see it? So it needs wheel cylinders for sure. Might as well put a new drum and everything on it. Wheel bearing feels like it could be adjusted. It's a little loose. Got some play in it. So probably get that repacked. But that's stuff ahead. I'm just kind of inspecting. So we'll do a rear brake job on it. It needs wheel cylinders and everything. Might as well replace it all. But it should be all right for now. So we'll just leave that loose. And that'll be fine for now. Yep, that's shot. Alright, I got new shocks in on both sides. Believe it or not, both sides were bad. This side obviously needs a new wheel cylinder and a brake adjuster cable. And a bearing, although this bearing isn't cooked like the other side. It's getting replaced anyway. It definitely needs re-greased at the least. You guys remember that mouse nest that was in that rocker panel? I kind of got some of it out. But I saw it again and it reminded me to do it. So I started with a screwdriver getting in here and going. Then I realized how far back it went. So I made myself a snake out of some baling wire. So I twisted it together and then I put 2 little hooks on the end. And I kind of just twisted it, ran it in, ran it out a couple times until I got majority of the nesting material out. As you can see through the rocker now. Now what we need to do is I need to wash that out with some water for starters, and then we need to get in there and spray real good with fluid film. Obviously it's already rusty on the inside, but we can try to slow down any further rusting. But we got to get that washed out first. At least now it'll be able to drain. But that was that was not ideal right there. All right, well we're all done with the suspension work and the brake inspection, I suppose. I know I looked at them before, but I definitely didn't want to do the brakes if this van wasn't going to run. So 700 miles, she earned those brand new brakes is getting all the way around. Well, not rear brakes, but you know, fixing what's wrong with them, new cylinders and everything. But I'm going to take this thing for a ride. I can already tell right now, going over that hump in the driveway, how much better this is. This van's going to drive like $1,000,000. Because, I mean, it drove fine. It's not like it shook or anything, but going around corners and stuff or bumps, man, did this thing bounce. it was a boat. I can already tell it's better just going down this gravel road. So, that's awesome. I will see you guys right back here in probably tomorrow. I got to do the fuel strap yet. And then the fuel line's going to the tank. I gotta lower the tank down and replace the rubber hoses and stuff because they're pretty shot. Actually, they're really shot. The clamps aren't really holding very much. So I'm just gonna do it. And I noticed the strap bolts are a little loose anyway, so we'll fix all that while we're in there. So I will see you in a minute. All right, so I reread the codes on this, and I'm getting code 213251. So what that means is the oxygen sensor is shot pretty well. So I ordered a new oxygen sensor and EGR because we were getting a code for EGR. Just gonna do it. But I was also wondering, because I'm working on getting the keyless box out, which is right up here. I was wondering what all the rattling was, you know, like it was like excessive when I'm going over bumps and gravel roads. And well, the whole top dash panel, all the clips are busted off of it, and there was a screw missing out of this guy right here, and this one's broke. And yeah, she's mint. I think I actually have this panel in this color from the 94 wood grain Town and Country. I think I've got this panel, so we might be able to address that. Well, I got this off, and it's under here. They've got this block-off plate here, and unfortunately for us, I do not see the pigtail in there, so we do not get keyless. Big sad. But I also figured out that, yeah, the clips are busted off of this guy too. which is great. So, all right, so I did manage to find that new trim panel for that to replace that rattly broken one. I had one from the 1994 Chrysler Town & Country with the wood grain from 2023. But right now what I'm doing is, this stereo works, but it's really, really staticky. It's got to be like a capacitor blown in it or something. Anyway, I've got this stereo. Pretty sure this is out of KERRY 1.0, the 91 Caravan. That stereo did work. So we're going to swap that in real quick and then replace all the missing screws in here because somebody's been in here before. In fact, there's a missing screw on the stereo, so maybe that's why they were in here. Among other things, we still had the spare jack, like the emergency jack back there. I put that in, got rid of that. So that's good to go there. And I guess we'll try this new stereo. Alright, dash all put back together. I kind of cleaned it up a bit. Dash definitely was abused a little bit, but it looks better. Alright, got the new exhaust bracket on. I had to do some customing. I'll show you here in a little bit. As you can see, that's custom. Alright, so I got the fuel tank dropped. Somebody's been here before because those are aftermarket bolts and they're pretty fresh. But it looks like they might have done a pump. If we look up here, see how shiny and, can you guys see that? See how shiny and nice that is? I think they did the pump at some point, maybe. But why did you do the pump and then not fix that? So this line right here is actively leaking. You see how it's damp there? And then look back here how wet it is. I can smell the gas when I drop this down. That's actively leaking. So somebody was up here and then didn't fix that. Nice. So here we are to fix it. I think I should be able to manage it with as slow as I got it dropped here. And then while we're up here, I'm going to get some fluid film. I'm actually probably going to fluid film this whole thing. So, but I'm looking right there. Doesn't that look damp right there? I don't know. I'm looking at that right there, and that kind of worries me right now. So, otherwise, I am probably going to fluid film everything up here and back here, and I'm looking at this brake line like I might do it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. But we're in here. We're going to get these lines replaced so that doesn't become a problem like it is right now. And as you can see, I've only got just lowered that much. That's enough access. All I need to do it. I got half a tank of fuel in here. So, we'll get these replaced. I'll bring you back when I'm done. Now, I did the right thing and I looked at it. As soon as I touched the clamp, look at that, it opened up and it just pissed out a bunch of fuel. So, I believe I've seen Blue Van rusted out there before me. I found the patch that somebody else had done there. So, we're going to have to patch that up somehow. I'm debating on whether or not just soft lining it all the way from back there up to here or putting in a small splice. We'll find out what I do here in a second, but I'm going to do something about it now. Well, here's the culprit here, and it was bad right here. As you can see, I pretty well snapped off. And you look inside the line, it's rusty on the inside. That's how you know it's good. Well, and then I came back to the where the other clamp holding it on is, and well, I did the little bend test, and the bend test is, does it fold when you try to bend it? And well, it did. And the fly's trying to get in on the fun. See how rusty it is on the inside? That already was rusted through. So this is shot. Good thing I'm a hoarder. Look what I've got. This is an old fuel line off of something. Anyway, I just went and I cut a chunk off. I cut it long here because I'll take the pipe cutter and I'll just cut this side, cut that side, and we'll put a little patch in. And then I should be able to flare this. I'll go get the proper flaring tool, which is not a brake line. Well, it's like a, what is this, like a 3/8 line or something? I don't know. I'll go get the right flaring tool to put a nice flare on it. And then we should only have to single clamp them. If you don't have a flaring tool, just put 2 clamps on each side, tighten them up good. You should be all right. But I'll try to do it right since I've got got it out here. Anyway, the other 2 lines, I did the bending on them because here's where the clamp one is. And they've got some rust on them, clearly, but there's no like heavy pitting. And when I try to fold them here, you don't have to bend hard, but they should, if they're rotted through, they should fold pretty easy. And these ones are pretty solid. They're not bending or anything. They look good over there, so we're going to leave them alone. They'll get fluid film undercoated, and they shouldn't rust any further. And then we'll just have this patched in and fixed. Well, I just got done putting in the new hoses over here, and unfortunately, I guess that top line is leaking. It's not leaking as bad as the bottom one was, but it's seeping, so I'm gonna go ahead and get both of those lines spliced in and replaced. I'll even do the vent one just because that top one's leaking. I gotta go in there anyway. So I guess I'll shut it down and cut all my zip ties I put in to get it all wrapped up nice, and spend another couple hours dealing with that. There, we're dry now. Alright, well, I did this a couple hours ago now, actually, but I did get everything done, got the lines up, and to the point where I don't see them leaking, so they're good. And I put the tank back up, got the spare tire up, but not before we undercoated the entire back of the vehicle. And I got up above the tank, too. You see that there where somebody hooked a tow hook to that? That's mint. Got all the brake line over there, got the fuel line over here. She's all done up good with fluid film black. Now, I ran out. I didn't get all the way up to the front, but I got some of it. I got some of the important bits. I've got some more on order because I always use it. So hopefully we'll be able to finish undercoating the van. I don't think it'll take much more. And then I'll get inside the rail. I'll kind of poke up in there. You get like a gun attachment for the little aerosol cans. And you can shoot it up there. I am saying a lot of things that could get me demonetized. I'm talking about an aerosol can, and I am spraying fluid film. There we go. Anyway, it's looking good. I know we'll have to be back up in here because we're going to have to replace this other brake line for the rear when we do this hose, as well as that brake line there. But those parts have not arrived yet, so we're going to call it good. Muffler is nice and secured properly with my beautiful engineering that I haven't shown you yet. So this bracket is cheap, and it sucks. Anyway, it doesn't, and also I had to replace the rubber guys there because the other rubber guys were too low, and it would let the exhaust hang. Luckily, I had like those are like NOS, some spares. Anyway, I they didn't come with the bolts for that, this particular bracket. Anyway, what those two bolts are, the bolt going through that one and the bottom bolt going through that one, those are the bolts for like the catalytic converter into the manifold, which are actually the same bolts that come with most of these kits, believe it or not, funny enough. Anyway, I cut it down a little bit so it wouldn't hit that stud, put a nut on it, and then I used a big washer to kind of shim it, just because it's funny. I probably should have put it on the other side looking at it, just the way it is, but that's how it is. And over on this side, I had to move where the bracket was bolted up there. There's a couple of holes you can bolt them into. I had to move it out one so it would fit right. Anyway, I kind of hacked it together, but it's in there, it's good, and that should last probably the life of this vehicle. Anyway, that probably buttons up what we're working on for now until we get to just doing the rear brakes, and then she's pretty well done. Oh, I added a couple screws where I could because this bumper's rotten because the whole bottom of this rubber cover was unsecure and was flapping. So I kind of was able to sink a couple of screws in it, if you can kind of see it there. All the plastic clips are gone and rotted away, and so is most of the back bumper, so don't get rear-ended. So, when you look at this van, what do you think the two worst spots on the vehicle are? If you said the hood and the roof, you'd be thinking what I'm thinking. And, well, I kind of hemmed and hawed. I was back and forth. Do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I ordered some paint, and we're gonna do the old rattle can the hood and the roof. And I figure if we take care of those two really bad spots, it should make the rest of the van look a lot better. And we should be able to kind of clean that up a little bit too. The demon clock is going off. That kind of sucks right there. I don't know if I could touch it up, make it better. Same with down here. But you don't want to open a big can of worms. This I do want to take care of. This really bothers me. This I want to grind down and put some paint over it. Probably go up to about here. So I figure that so the paint's going to be here today. Oh, the other worst thing. I fixed the fuel door that was stuck way in. I got it tweaked just it's a lot better. I figure I'm gonna start masking the vehicle off because we're gonna paint to about here. Well, top of the drip rail. So we're gonna mask everything at below the drip rail. Mask across here, all the way across the glass, all the way across going down the side. And then as far as the hood goes, we'll mask off the fenders, probably fold it underneath the hood so the plastic goes up and over it. Pull this guy off real quick. Rest of it should be fine to stay, and then we'll sand down surfaces so they're smooth. Hit them with some paint. I got a couple of rattle cans. I think I got 3 because I learned my lesson, I think, finally, to order more paint. And they're the nice spray cans that I've used before. It turns out really good if you put it on thick, but not, obviously don't get runs in it. And then a little wet sand and polish, and it cleans up pretty good. But we'll see what we can do to get that done. I'm doing this to kind of avoid doing that, because I don't want to do the rear brakes. I don't want to tear it apart right now. I just don't feel like it. Not in a very good mood to do it. This is what I'm going to leave it at. So let's get to it, I think. Well, I made the right decision, I think, and took the hood off. I was trying to not have to do it because, you know, I didn't want to. But just trying to put the bubbling and whatever around it. It's like bubble wrap is what I have for plastic. I'm never going to get this lip properly painted, and then the paint will start peeling off of it. We want to be able to spray around the whole edge here, which it also makes it easier for masking everything off, or what's left for the roof anyway. So, and it's not that bad. Just had to do it. And also I almost forgot I had to take these off. And this driver one's clogged, so I'll have to fix that while we're in here. But, there. Well, there it is. I sanded it down anyway. I tried to get most of the stuff out of the paint. This paint, you see how odd this is? It's like super pitted or whatever. So I got it to where it's smooth for the most part. A couple dents and low spots and whatever. But this is a big dent right here. High spot for some reason. Low spot. I got that out of there. You can't really feel that anymore. A little rough right here yet. I'd almost come back and sand that some more. I might hit it quick. You see all these spots where we went down to bare metal? And you're supposed to prime that. Nah, we're going to go right over it. So we'll see how this turns out. It'll be better, I think. So. Well, in typical fashion, here's my 10-15 foot paint job. We didn't have enough paint as always. I had enough just to kind of do the hood. It's striped. You can see it. I don't know. It's still wet. Maybe you won't be able to see it when it's dry. You definitely see that dent in it now. I had enough just to kind of hit the hood a little bit. I hit right up here in front where I knew you'd be able to see it. I was able to clear everything. I had enough clear to put a good layer of clear, but it does look a lot better. From here, yeah, it does look a lot better. And I did cover up the rust, so it's greenish. Hit this bumper, though. Look at that. The bumper looks really good. That actually turned out great. I did knock that a little bit. I kind of got it on the pinstripe, but it looks okay. So, that was a big improvement right there. That's a big improvement. That will be a big improvement. Once that cures for a week or two, I probably will come in and wet sand it, but I've about finished up my carrying for this. I used up the time I allotted for it. But it's better. I didn't sand the hood or anything, or the roof, I just went over it. Got this all right. That looks a lot better right there. I hit that. I did get that scratch covered with paint, so it's green. But it's an improvement. It's a visual improvement. That's about all that it is. But the roof looks a lot better. It looks a lot better. You won't catch your eyes, obviously, unless you look at it for more than closer than 10 feet. So, next time we'll be back, that hood will be back on it. And it's better, that's all I'm going to say. Well, I guess I painted it too close to night. I thought it was dry enough when the dew started to form on it. Clearly it wasn't. Because it like ruined this paint. Like if you look around the edges where the dew wasn't forming, it looks really good actually. The rest of it, I don't know about that. Looked good last night. That's depressing. Whoops. Well, I'm working on doing the EGR and O2 sensor on this bad boy here. And I actually like doing the O2 sensor on the 3.0. It's not that bad to do. You gotta pull the plastic intake off as I drop my shades. And get in there. I cut the little plug off and then I used a 22mm socket. Heated that thing up real good. You could also run the engine before you do this, but I like to work around the EGR when it's not hot. So I took a torch to it, hit it with some PB blaster, and I was able to get it off with just this right here. There she be. So that's a little warm. So I got new stuff right in here, I think. Yeah, look at that. Shiny new Bosch O2 sensor. And this should be an EGR kit right here. Comes with the valve and the whole solenoid and everything. Oh, and a new gasket. Look at that. Look at that shiny stuff. I don't know. Shiny. Oh, it doesn't come with that hose, whatever. But that should do the trick. Well, new O2 and EGR. Let's see how she does. Hopefully no more check engine light. Let's say we got it nailed. No check engine light after a couple of miles. Yeah, look at that. Nice. So we fixed fuel leaks. We fixed the EGR and O2 issue. I bet you this thing gets way better fuel economy now. Not to mention it probably runs better. Because it knows what it's doing. Weird. Nice.
Two weeks later.
Alright, so here's all of our new brake parts and wheel bearing parts in there. All Raybestos equipment is what I ended up buying. They're really good usually. Actually, I heard I think they went bankrupt. Their parent company went bankrupt this week. So hopefully they get bought up by somebody decent. But that's unfortunate, I heard. Anyway, let's go ahead, get these slapped on here real quick, and then we'll start working on the back. Alright, front brakes are all apart. Those rotors definitely fought us coming off, as you can see there. But they're off. I got the brake lines off, or brake hoses off. I managed to save that brake line after spinning the hose off and then heating the heck out of that thing and soaking it in PB. She broke free. Good to go. Got the caliper all apart, slid back in, like butter. That's how they should go. They should have zero resistance to them. Bleeder cracked free. I got the slide pins out. So here's a big thing. The slide pins on this side moved. They're had some resistance to them, and obviously they don't look rusty or anything. So what's happened here, and this is something to keep an eye out for, is inside these bores, the rust has constricted it, and so it's causing drag on these slide pins, at least on this side. So we're going to get some sandpaper in there, clean those all out. The boots look good, no tears or anything, so we'll reuse those. But if we come over to the other side, pads had a lot more meat to them and everything. This side looked better, like somebody had messed with it more recently than the other side. However, we happened to find a slide pin that was seized. And I think it's seized because this boot was tore. That looks like an old tear. So probably the last time the brakes got done, that got done. And then what happened is, I think was it this one? One of these is a lot more rusty than the other one. Yeah, this one right here. What happened is it got all rusty on the edge there, and it seized the pin, so I'd actually hammer it out. I think I've got a new, used, maybe different boot that will replace that. Otherwise, caliper's good to go. Same thing here, this rotor didn't come off as hard. And that's in brand new brake line, so we had no issue there. So, that'll go together. Okay, if y'all remember, that inner tie rod boot is tore. I think I initially said I was just going to ignore it, wait for it to go bad. But apparently I was in the right frame of mind when I ordered parts, and I ordered a boot for it. But we're not going to put it on. So I got this off actually. So I cracked it loose. The nut stayed on here, so I was like, I ain't going to lose my alignment or anything. This guy feels kind of rough. He's got a tear in the boot, but it's been greased. It doesn't feel that bad. There's no play in it, just kind of gritty. So that's kind of eh. And then I go like this. Oh, tie rod's shot. That inner is junk, so it is not worth the effort to bother with that. We are going to leave it for now. Put that right back on where it was. And I'm going to order up a set of inner and outer tie rods. Make sure they come with boots, or I'll get another boot. And we'll do both sides. And then we'll go ahead and we'll actually end up getting it properly aligned, since we got new struts on it anyway. But that'll be for another day. We're just going to put that tie rod back on. It is okay for now. We're going to get the brakes done on this side, and then I'm going to move on to the rear brakes and wheel bearings and stuff. Yeah, we didn't catch it in time. Clearly, that's been like that for a while because that tie rod is shot. And or it's just time anyway. Good, I thought there was a little play in the steering too. I guess I found it. Alright, demolition is completed. As you can see, definitely didn't escalate things there with those wheel cylinders. Nah, I saw this coming. So we were doing the hoses anyway. I tried to save that one brake line up there. I don't know what kind of game I was playing because, well, they weren't going to be saved anyway. But look at these hoses. Look at the clamps on those. That's just a bomb waiting to go off right there. I did save the passenger line, but this line is kind of a crappy line. I think it must have been a pre-made. They just kind of bent to fit. Nah, so I took that out anyway. And then I cut off the sections of line, and then that rear line to the right, going all the way up to that little prop valve, that guy pretty well just snapped off immediately. It was waiting to go. So we got to run one line to there and then 2 axle lines. Should be good with new wheel cylinders. Wheel bearings were definitely shot. The amount of play was very, very excessive, more than it was last week, to the point where these bearings are probably pretty well falling apart. They didn't look that bad, but they're due. Pads look good still. I cleaned everything up, sprayed it down with brake clean. Everything looks okay in there. Gonna reuse all the hardware aside from the new self-adjuster cables. This adjuster was froze, the other side was not. This is the side that had metal in the bearings, or in the cap, but the races all seem to look good. I gotta get the rear seal out on this side here yet, and then get the inner bearing out, and then I gotta pound both races out, because the new bearings and new races we're gonna use. Otherwise, everything else looks decent-ish. Yeah, this all looks good. But yeah, those are old Timken bearings, probably original to be honest. They're due. They're war is what they are. Otherwise, it came apart. Everything came apart just fine. No issues here. As you can see up at the prop valve where we already did the one line. That line snapped off with no effort, and then I just put a 7/16 socket on there. Got that guy out of that prop valve. No problem. We're going to leave the lines going to the front alone. They seem okay, and they've been sprayed with oil. I'm just going to start working away at it. I'm going to get the brakes put together first because you get more room with the hub out, obviously. And I'll bring you back when we got some progress done. Alright, brakes are all done, at least the hardware is on both sides. Got it all cleaned up, put back together. New wheel cylinder, new adjusting cable, adjusters all freed up and working. Looking both are good on both sides. Figure, here you go. Same thing, just opposite. Alright, new hoses in and the one line connected back up. It looks nice and shiny, don't it? Brake lines are all done. Alright, this is about all I'm going to show on these rear wheel bearings in this video. If you want to see how to do it maybe more-ish in depth, check out when we did it on Blue Van twice. But I got the old bearings out and the inner races here. The outer bearing is actually pretty easy because you just stick this socket through the backside and punch it out. It's 1.1/16 and it's an impact rated socket. Fits perfectly in there. Maybe you need 1.1/8 if you use a non-impact socket. I don't know. That's just the socket I always use. Now, the inner race is kind of a pain, but I end up always using this beautiful punch right here. I don't know. This is an ancient old punch, but I just set this the other way, and I just start tapping on the edge and work my way out. Obviously, it puts a couple dings and dents in as you take it out, but that's the name of the game. And then you just got to get a big socket to punch it back in. That's easier, as long as you get the right size socket. But that's how I do it. And the bearings, I'm just going to pack with some grease in my hands. I'll let you know when they're done. I don't know, here. I'll show you what kind of grease I'm using here. This stuff right here. It's Master Pro Moly grease. That's what I've got some high temp grease, but I better luck with this stuff right here. So that's what we're using. All right, got the races in. So for the outer here, I used, what is this, another impact socket. It's probably like 1.25 inches or something. Actually, it doesn't have a writing on it anymore. Whatever that 338055 cobalt comes back to, that's what I use for that. And then for the inner, I got this beautiful tool that was in miscellaneous press bucket. And it just so happens that it's the perfect one for that. So there we go. Now all I gotta do is pack the bearings, throw them in, tap this new seal in, and call it a day. I got all the old bearings and seal in there for a rainy day because I'm a hoarder. Throw them with the other set I have. And I've got a box like with random brake and wheel bearing parts for rear brakes on caravans. It pays off once in a while. All right, she's on the van. Brakes are all bled. They bled up okay. Tires are all on. I got the brakes adjusted pretty good. They seem to be about the same, and they work most importantly, at least when they're up in the air. Wheel bearings seem really good. They don't have any play in them anymore. Right side, maybe just a touch. It might need to be tightened after it's driven, because you wanna get your wheel bearings. The way I do it is I snug them down good while spinning the bearing, and then I crank it back quarter turn. That seems to have been the best. I tried doing it with the torque specs or whatever, and it never worked out right. At least when doing blue van and gray van. That seems to be the best. Crank it down, back it off a quarter turn. Seems pretty good. Drive it, and then come back and do the same thing again. Reset your preload is what that's called. And anyway, but it should be fine. We're going to take it for a quick test drive. We'll see if we notice any improvements or anything, and obviously we have good working brakes now, good brake lines, and wheel bearings that aren't disintegrating. I do think this was part of the shake it's having right now, was those wheel bearings going out. We'll see though. Yeah, let's just say that shake that I've been noticing while I was driving it that was getting progressively worse is pretty well gone. Because it was getting pretty bad today, because I drove it home from work today, and it was starting to get pretty bad. Yeah, it's reduced to pretty well nothing, which is fantastic. So those wheel bearings were definitely on their way out. This thing's driving great. The brakes are nuts. These brakes are good. I mean, I just barely have to get on them, and they almost want to lock up on gravel. They stop really good. I gotta make sure they're not too hot, and I don't have them adjusted too tight as I turn around on my closed course test track. Just make sure I don't have them too tight, but they don't seem to be dragging all that much, and they spun fine when I had them up in the air. But we're doing good. Those brakes are, driving great, doesn't shake. Awesome. Now we just got to take care of the tie rods, and then I'll go in, I'll get it aligned, I'll get all 4 wheels balanced. I think the front ones are balanced pretty good, but I'm just gonna, they were done before I owned the vehicle, and I know the rears are not balanced at all. They don't have weights on them, so we'll get that taken care of. Look how nice those coated rotors look. What a good choice there. They just so happen to be the cheapest. And they shouldn't rust super bad, hopefully. It doesn't matter. I don't care. They're brakes, so you can replace them. Anyway, it's been a hot minute here. I've been busy on some other stuff. I finally just got the truck back up to status quo like it should be. But I need to get that aligned. Oh, there's so many cars I got to get aligned now. Because what we're doing here, that's relevant to this. We're doing tie rods on this thing. It needs inners bad, and we're going to do the outers with it. And then we need to do one tie rod boot. I think it's the driver's side one that's bad. And while we're in here and have it apart, I put this CV in here. It was a used one. I thought I had a new one at the time. I didn't. This is it was Gray Van CV that I put in new. I bought it new for Gray Van. And then we replaced again chasing that shake. I think, well, and what happened was Gray Van ended up being bad motor mounts. I think those motor mounts probably ruined this CV. I don't know. I'm just going to throw a new one in it for shits and giggles. And then I'll throw this one off to the side. But it needs tie rods, so that's what we're in here to do. And once those are done, we got to get in alignment, obviously. But we'll cross that road when we get to it. Anyway, here's where we're at currently. Something is leaking. Is this from this car or is that from the truck? Here. What is spewing oil everywhere? Oh. Well, that's good. Is that the power steering pump? What is profusely leaking oil everywhere? Oh, great. That's new to me. It's not power steering. It's an oil leak, and it's actively dripping, too. And it's not through oil pan. It's coming from up here somewhere, unfortunately. I can't see where, but it's coming from, like, back here. That's not good. Okay, yeah, so I took a rag and I wiped off down there, and I was just watching where it was dripping from. It's not coming out of the oil pan. It's definitely coming from up there somewhere. As you can look at that stream of oil. Can you guys get in here and get a good view? What do you guys see? I think it's that cam seal, or that'd have to be where that much oil is coming from, I would think. And if I remember, that cam seal has a little sleeve on it or something, because the cam was rusty. Well, I would say that killed my motivation to work on this. I will see you guys in a couple of days, I think. Whoops. I might have waited a little too long to do the work on this van that still needs done. Clearly, we have not done it yet, as if you look here, the time has elapsed significantly. That oil leak really, really demotivated me to the point where it is now 10 degrees and getting colder. It's supposed to go into the negatives tonight. So, yeah, let's get this thing brushed off. We're going to fire this van up. We're going to pull it in the garage behind me. That I will not turn the camera around to show you what's behind me. And we're going to get this thing inside warmed up. And we're going to dig into doing these tie rods really quick, doing that CV axle, get that oil leak fixed, and get this van done. And it is for sale. Somebody please buy this from me. If you guys really want a second gen, here it is. Buy it, please. So if you're interested, you know. If not, I will sell it to whoever buys it. So ideally, I want it to go to a nice home. You know, somebody that will actually care for it and keep it on the road, and not somebody that will just run it into the ground. I'd hate to sell it to somebody to do that, but you know, it is what it is. So let's I'm freezing. Let's get this thing fired up. You want to do a cold start? Let's do a cold start as the camera pans away from spoilers. Cold start. Okay. We're going to say it's got oil in it. The leak isn't that bad. Blows motor up. Nice. I'm going to let this warm up. I'm going to brush it off. And then we'll get it pulled in and let's get to work. The motor doesn't even tick when it's cold. That is such a good motor, except for the fact it's pissing oil out. I don't see it leaky right now, though, so it's fine. Oh, here it is. It's in the garage. I got it up in the air. Got the wheels off of it, and then I've gone down and I've just marked my alignment points just so we can get it eyeballed close. And then I put the little toe alignment kit pieces that I have over here. They're here somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. I threw those on just so I got a measurement of what the tie rods were, so I could double check my work. And I've got the steering wheel thing holding that in place, so that way we can at least get it close. I'll bring it into the shop and I'll get it aligned, but we'll at least get it close, like we got it close when we did the struts. So, and we'll go ahead and I think we'll start on this side, because all I have to do is replace the tie rod and the boot. And then we'll go to the other side, because we got to do the CV axle on the passenger side, because we already put a brand new one on this side. And get that done really quick. And then we'll move on to this oil leak up here, which means pulling the whole front part of the motor off again and getting at that timing cover. It's not that hard to do, it's just annoying because we just did this. So I'm just gonna get to work. I'll bring you back when I've got some updates for you. The garage is not a really good filming area. It's kind of just moving stuff around. As you can see, I got tons of boxes and parts, and there's not that much room in here. So we'll just get her done, and I'll let you know. Gotcha. 4, half 5, half 6, half 25, half 26, 26. All right, got the new inner and outer tie rods on, got the new boot on and everything. Touched up the fluid film over the rust and, you know, old undercoating and stuff. Actually chipped off some rust. It's what is that going on there? A little bit of a peek hole there. Oh, we're gonna ignore that. She's fine. Yeah, it's good to go. Hopefully, I'm going to give my grease gun a little chance here. Hopefully, I'll be able to add some more grease to this joint here. But I know that grease gun's on its way out. So, otherwise, this side is done. That's the easy side. Throw the tire on here quick, and we'll move on to the difficult side. All right, passenger side's all done. Got that new CV axle in there. Don't forget when you're putting your axle nut on to not forget the washer, because I did, and I had to take that all back off. We got it lined back up with our alignment mark. Got the new inner and outer tie rod on. Got the old boot back on with the new clamp up there. Everything's good to go there. Wheel looks pretty straight where it's sitting here. Both outer tie rods were 26 turns exactly, so this thing was dialed in. I've got about 1.5 cans of fluid film black I'm willing to spend on this. I'm just going to touch up some of the worst areas, you know, just to kind of get it by. I'm not going to go full blast on it. I'm going to get the rockers kind of just sprayed on the outside. But that'll be that. That's all I'm willing to spend on it. Next owner can do it the rest of the way or not, whatever they choose to do. And I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, and we'll get that oil leak situated, or at least figure out what happened. All right, so I'm working here, trying to kind of dissect and get down into this. I'm going to move this out of your way because it hurts the camera. But I keep figuring, so I got the inspection out of here, right? And if you look in there, it doesn't look super wet around that pulley like you'd think it'd be, right? And I'm just kind of looking around, and see, the oil is kind of centered around that bolt, is it not? Do you think that bolt goes into like an oil passage, and maybe it's seeping around the bolt? Because that's kind of what I'm thinking. I might try pop that bolt out and see what it looks like, and just see how coated in oil it is. Because right now when I fire the van up, it's not leaking really. But I wonder if the bolt like shrinks or something when it's cold and it's loose enough. Maybe it's loose. I haven't checked. But I think that's worth trying before we tear anything more apart. Because to get this cam cover off, I got to pull the motor mount and this whole metal bracket, which is where I'm at next. But I've been looking around here, and it looks dry. The belt looks dry. If that cam seal was leaking, that belt would be soaked. It's not. There would be oil sloshed up here and everywhere. I think it might be coming out of that bolt hole. Like, seriously, there's a good chance that it penetrates into, like, an oil jacket or something. It's possible, anyway. Because it's, like, centered around that hole. Like, I mean, I don't know if it could be more centered around that hole. Right there. So you see the oil is wet on it. That's totally where it's coming from. It's coming from around that bolt. Right there. After further review of the play, the call has been overturned. So I looked at that footage again, and it looks like it's coming from above it. You can see where it's dripping out above it yet. So that is definitely not it. It just happens to be flowing right into it. That's unfortunate. It's not that bolt. And I thought that was weird. But it's directly above that bolt, which is where the damn cam seal is. I'm going to pull it apart. Got to. Well, I have this cover out of the way and apart. I can't quite get it out because I still have the power steering pump in. But I really don't think it's the cam seal that's leaking. There's not enough oil all over this belt, and I don't really see oil below where the seal is. I still think it's coming out of a bolt hole. Maybe it's not that first one, which is this one right here, but it sure freaking looks like it. Unless, I don't know, is it coming out of the head, you know? Like where the oil comes up into the head here? Or here, I guess? Is it seeping around a head gasket in the corner? I don't know if that's an oil jacket in the corner, if that's a water jacket. I'd have to go look at a picture of a 3.0 with the heads off. But I don't think it's a cam seal. I really don't. I don't know. I got everything off. What do you guys think? Where do you think that's coming from? Like, I can see a little dampness around where that seal is, but it's like not the giant stream of oil that I'm seeing. At least I don't think. Like, you can see it's a little damp around it, but like, if it was dripping from that seal as bad as it's actually leaking, I would think the belt would be wet, and it's not. But what worries me is where it really is wet is right there where the head gasket is, you know, right where the head and the block meet. And then side quest, one of these this water pump bolt, see it's green around it? That guy's leaking, so that pump bolt really needs to come out and get some silicone put on it. So that's cool. That one looks like it's dripping too. That was probably my bad. I probably did that and not put silicone on it. Yeah, you can see how wet it is though. So I'm gonna fire it up because it'll run the way it sits. And I'm gonna see if I can really point out where it's coming from. I'm gonna get some brake clean and kind of spray it off here, just so we got a nice clean palette to work with, and then hopefully we can see where it's coming from. I really hope it's not coming out of that head, because that sucks. That really sucks if it is. Yeah, it'll run the way it sits, he says, as he has the fuel lines unhooked that spray fuel everywhere. No, it would not, so I hooked those up. And that reminds me, I should probably hook this vacuum line EGR tube thing back up, or try to anyway. And then we'll fire it up, maybe wipe off the gas that I just sprayed everywhere. Alright, let's see what we can see. One, that timing belt, I don't like how that rides. Look at that. Why does it do that? Look at it. Why it do that? You know, I won't ask questions I don't want the answers to. Why it look where the oil's coming from. It's above the head. I think it is the cam seal. So yeah, it's because it's behind that plate there where the pulley is. But it is that cam seal. Look at it pour. Well, good, we don't have to do head gaskets. Bad, we have to untime the motor. Well, there's what a 3.0 looks like with the timing belt just exposed, if you wanted to know that. It's kind of cool, I guess, huh? Who was yelling the crank bolts off when I was wondering why the belt was doing wobbly stuff? Well, the crank bolt's off, and that pulley was walking, I bet. Yeah, I bet that was it. I bet you this pulley is walking back and forth like that. Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
The next day.
And just like that, the cam bolt is loose. This is the, here, do that. This is the $30 sprocket tool that you can get at Harbor Freight. And it's just got the two biggest 10 mil pieces on there. And then I got a ratchet on the other end, and then a little bit on this guy, and boom, it's loose. So that saves me having to do the little timing belt trick, because we want to save that belt because we're going to reuse it, because it's brand new. So I'll get that all off of there, and then I'll get this bracket off, and we'll look at the carnage, and we'll see how bad that seal is, and hopefully just throwing a new seal in should fix it. But I do know that that cam is sleeved, so I'm 50-50 on us having to do some funny business. We'll see. Alright, I do think I see the problem, which is a good thing. I don't know if I did this or if the seal walked, but the seal's in crooked, and it's pushed super far back in there, I think. at least on, see this side, see how far that side is in versus the other side? So it's sitting crooked. And that would be why it's leaking. So I don't know why it's like that, but it is. So we'll get that seal pulled out of there. We'll see if it's damaged at all. I'll replace it anyway. I gotta go dig one out, but that's why it's leaking, because it's cockeyed. Side note, I snapped that bolt off, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. I think we're just gonna ignore it. But, alright, well that's cool, I guess. So me that's editing, here's your reminder to go pull footage to see what I did when I installed that seal the last time, if I have the footage. That's how it's supposed to be. So that was probably my bad. I probably ended up having that seal in there funny. It's in there right now. That's a lot better. I don't like that seal. The seal I just put in is not as good quality, but I think having it in the right way will go a long way in having it not leak. But I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I think that was my bad. I think we're good, as far as I can tell anyway. Seal's a little cockeyed, but I don't think that'll make a difference. I think we're all the way in. I think we're sitting on it all right. I hope so anyway. I can't quite tell. I'm worried I'm a little too far in, but well, one way to find out. Whoops. But as you can see this sleeve here? They make a repair sleeve because this cam from this motor sitting for 20 odd years was rusted. So you put a sleeve over it after I sanded the cam down pretty smooth, and then smack that seal over, or the little, it's like a sleeve over it, and then the cam's got a nice good surface to ride on. So yeah, I guess I'll reassemble it, and then hopefully it won't leak. Well, we'll reassemble it to the point where we can put the timing belt on it, retime the engine, fire it up, and then we'll make sure it doesn't leak before we put it back together. But I'll put it back together. I'm gonna, before I forget those water pump bolts, I'm gonna pull those two out that are leaking, and I'm gonna RTV them. So hopefully they have a fighting chance at being better. Otherwise, I'll let you know, and we'll find out if it leaks or not. Many hours later, and frustrations that are untold. I will not be telling you of those frustrations. It's back together. I think we're good. I think we're good. I'm gonna check the oil in it, make sure it's good to go. I'll bring you back for a first start. We'll get it backed out of this garage here, and then she's done, I guess. I'll be driving it next week, as much as I don't want to drive it in the winter. That's going to be this one's fate. All right, please start and run, okay? Seems okay. You know what I forgot to do? I know there's a giant vacuum leak right now. Yeah, there is. Hear that? So I forgot to hook this up. I did that earlier too. Here you go. You're welcome. Sounds okay. Any leaks? No drips. Looks dry so far. All right. Well, I think we did it. We got the new tie rods and stuff in on the van, and we fixed the oil leak. That was my bad. I caused that when I had that engine in KERRY 1.0. Whoops. But it's all good. We fixed it. So hopefully we can get this van back out on the road again. I think it's been like 2 months since I drove it. I've kind of been procrastinating. I've been procrastinating working on it, and I'm glad it's done now. So it be snowing. Well, what do you think of the weather, Kerry? It'd be cold and it'd be snowing, so yeah, poor thing. All right, well, I'm gonna take it for a drive. I guess you guys come on along with, right? That's fun, right? Where you guys can't see anything like me because it's cold and snowy. Oh, all right, so okay, let me get this thing out of the driveway and let's get on to it. I'm glad the heat works in this thing. Well, I figure we got a pretty good goal sitting right there on the dash in an amber light. This thing's out of gas, so I figure what we're gonna try to do is let's go put some gas in it. That's a good test, right? That's always a good test. Will it make it to the gas station? Look at that. Nice about having the white snow covering over everything is that it's brighter outside at night. As you can see everything. Yeah. Been a long time. I don't like to drive second gens in the snow, so it's kind of nice having one that we're driving. Because we did drive Turnip when we got it first going there in the winter there, but there wasn't that much snow. There's actual snow on the ground for this old girl. She's used to it. She spent her whole life up in northern Minnesota. This is not new. Steering wheel's definitely a hair off. It's a little to the left pointed. So we didn't get the alignment perfect, but why would have we gotten it perfect? That doesn't make sense. Driving okay though. Definitely needs an alignment. You can feel it kind of pull as I catch and lose traction on tires. That's a big sign of it not having a good alignment because it's pulling side to side. The wind doesn't help either, but you know. Oh yeah, look at that. Fresh snow. Not too bad though. I can one-handed anyway. Yeah, you can definitely feel it. Needs an alignment. I'll have to get one scheduled. All right. Well, I'm gonna get this thing to the gas station. I'll bring you back if anything happens. But I'd say mission success. We did it. She's KERRY 2.0 is back on the road. Oh, we made it. We're getting fuel. Here she be. And sure don't look like there's an oil leak to me because we'd see it in the snow. It's been sitting here just idling away just fine. So I think we done good. Well, here she is. She made it home. It's running good. It's driving great. We've got just a few more things to tidy up on this van. I know I gotta clean the glass from when we botched our spray job really poorly because of I gotta clean some of that stuff off the glass, a little overspray. I know that wheel weight right there is interfering with that hubcap. I need to fix that. And I believe I need to get the rear tires balanced as well. Otherwise, take it in for an alignment, and that's gonna do it. And I think that's gonna complete, at least as far as I'm gonna go on this van. I think it's up for sale. If anybody has to have this van, make me an offer. I don't know, $2,000. That's what I'm gonna ask right now. I don't know if somebody really wants to have it. Tell me what you want to pay. I don't care. Reasonable offer. Email me right here. Email me. So yeah, otherwise, I'm just going to enjoy it. I am going to drive it. It looks good out here in the snow. It does look good. So, I'm going to get inside. It's cold. Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode and the series on KERRY 2.0, the 1995 Plymouth Voyager that we saved from the scrapyard. It was being parted out on Facebook Marketplace, and we bought it. So, I'll see you guys next time.